when it was the Stettin Boladome. In 1953, it became Days Boladome, which is the 1991 site for the City Match Game Tournament. Wausau's top 24 bowlers took to the lanes for this most prestigious bowling event. And now we're down to the final 5. The City Match Game Tournament is next.
From Days Boladome in Wausau, this is the 11th annual City Match Game Bowling Tournament. This TV9 Sports exclusive is brought to you by Reserve and People's State Bank. Now, let's go out to the lane.
From Days Boladome in Wausau, Wisconsin, this is the 11th annual City Match Game Tournament. Hello, everyone. I'm Newsline 9 Sports Director Jim Sosha, and joining me today for the tournament is former Newsline 9 Sports Director Randy Allen. Randy, nice to see you again. Very interesting tournament. These guys have, in effect, been qualifying to get to this final round for 6 or 7 months, haven't they?
Well, it truly is achievement of excellence over a long period of time. The tournament format starts with the top 20 averages from the Wausau City Men's Association, and then adds a rabbit squad, an additional qualifying round at the end of the season to determine 4 more bowlers to get a good composition from all the houses here. So it's 24 of the top bowlers, not just over a weekend, but season long. Those who have bowled the best throughout the course of the year that arrive here for the final roll-off and then the step-ladder finals.
It's interesting. You have all year to build up that average, and then suddenly you're down to today, 1 game. If you have it, you advance. If you don't, you go home. A lot of pressure.
Well, the bowlers will certainly have to deal with the pressure. The TV lights, the step-ladder final, the crowd that's here, and who can ever maintain their composure and concentrate and focus on their target line, their ball speed, their arm swing is going to emerge the champion. And they'll have to adjust quickly, too. It's not a 6-game block or an 8-game block where they've got several games to see how the lane conditions are. From one frame to the next, they're going to have to adjust and adjust quickly, and primarily with speed in order to cope with changing conditions under the TV lights.
Now, yesterday, in what was really the final phase of qualifying for our finals, 24 bowlers bowled 6 games. The top 5 are here. How do you size up this field today?
Well, the age-old question about bowling in a step-ladder final, would you prefer to be in the number 1 position and wait for the other 4 bowlers to determine who bowls against you, or would you sooner be in that 5 or 4 position and develop a little momentum and get comfortable with the lanes? Our top qualifier, Tom Rahlf, finished strong in his qualifying round, the 6-game block, with a 771 final 3. Jim Behn opened with 278 and is a good spare bowler. Bill Cywinski, with an 833 career high, can string him. He's got that breakaway ability. Curt, Bill Rheinschmidt, good steady bowlers, but I think it's going to be speed and the ability to put those spares in between the strikes that will determine the champion.
Going back to Behn, he's won this tournament a couple of times. Does that give him much of an advantage here today?
Certainly. I think anyone who's been in the pressure of the step-ladder final in any championship event and has won 2 titles can probably cope with it the best. It's a little anxious when you get out there under TV conditions to maintain your concentration. But I agree with you. I think the fact that Jim's been here a couple of times before is certainly an advantage for him.
Curt Day against Bill Rheinschmidt in our first match of the day, and it should be a good one. We'll be back with the action in a minute.
It happens every spring. The boys of summer return to the ballparks, and St. Clair's hosts a spring spectacular. I'm Dave Yankee of St. Clair's Menswear. I don't know who will win the pennant, but I do know that our spring spectacular values are worth scoring. For a very short period of time, get 15% off spring and summer suits, sport coats, and blazers. That's 15% off. But hurry, the sale ends April 27th.
Every city has one truly fine men's store. In Wausau, it's St. Clair's, downtown on 3rd Street.
Stop in and check out the Reeser Oil Mobile Mart in your neighborhood. It's not just a place to get gas. It now has all the conveniences you need. Reeser Mobile Marts have a variety of groceries, pizza, soda, beer, snack counter, magazines, car care needs. No more waiting in those long grocery store checkout lines. Next time you're filling up with Reeser's brand name gasoline, pick up those little extras at the same time. Reeser Oil Mobile Marts, your most convenient convenience store. 11 North Central Wisconsin locations.
Jim Sosha, Randy Allen back at Days Boladome, match number 1. Our first bowler, Bill Rheinschmidt.
Jim, we talked about it a little bit earlier in our preview to the finals here, that the pressure of the lights, the experience of being in a stepladder final is going to be difficult for the bowlers to adjust to. And you can see on that first shot, Bill tugged it a little bit, came inside his target line, and it's a big spare for him to get off on the right foot.
No signs of butterflies there. Rheinschmidt gets a nice hand. Bill Rheinschmidt, 36 years old, his home house, Paper City Lanes, going against this guy, Curt Day, 25-year-old Wausonian, I believe. And guess where his home house is, Randy?
Well, if anybody should be familiar with the house, it should be Curt. And he gets a break crossing over with that first delivery. You'll notice that Curt elected to have Bill start the match on 7 and bowl that single frame. So after throwing his shadow balls, Curt had the choice to make there, and he wanted Bill to throw that first ball. So Curt will be finishing the match first on 7 when we get into those crunch frames 8, 9, and 10.
Day gonna cross over again. If you see a good thing, stick with it. So he's perfect through 2 frames.
Well, what a gift getting a Brooklyn double this early in the match. But as I mentioned, Curt should know the house pretty well. He's run from the butterflies like everybody else. His father, of course, Russ Day, owner and proprietor of Day's Bowl Dome, where our finals are.
Rheinschmidt leaves a solid 10-pin, so he's got that mark up in the first and a 9 count here in the second. Rheinschmidt was our 5th place qualifier in yesterday's 6-game qualifying round. He averaged 210 for 6 games. He had a 12.63 series. Curt Day, a 12.66. His average, 211.
And a big spare again for Bill. These bowlers will search for their hook zone a little bit out there, but they're both clean through 2 frames, which is a good start for both of them. Curt probably the most powerful of anybody in the field of 5 here today. He'll put the most crank on the ball. Bill is more of a stroker.
Seven count in the third. You know, Randy, all of these guys are really tournament-tested bowlers. You don't average at least 207 through the course of the year without bowling some tournaments, but not this kind of tournament environment.
Well, they're bowling under a condition that's about 24 feet of short oil with 3 units on the edge, a little bit of a crown in the middle, so they don't want to throw past that condition. They don't want to get the speed up, and Bill's done that on a couple of his shots. He's sent the ball a little bit long, a little bit too much speed. Now Curt, with the benefit of that crossover double, will try and take advantage of it. Bill is clean through 3 frames, but Curt is nursing about a 15-pin lead here, so he can take control of the match early.
Let's see if he continues with that Brooklyn here. It's been good for him so far. A little more conventional.
He's hot. He made the adjustment. You see him send that ball a little bit wider, get out in that hook zone, send it down the boards, and arc the ball a little bit more. So he's made that adjustment right away, where Bill has been tugging on the ball a little bit and sending it inside his target line. Tremendous inside-out swing from Curt, too. If you take a look at that backswing, he gets that ball behind his hip a little bit. What all good young bowlers want to try and do is get that swing inside out. There's the hazard of too much speed. He forced that ball a little bit, threw it a little bit too hard, and it didn't react for him. And now he's got a tough spare. He'll have to go across the condition to get this bucket. This might be the break that Bill's looking for to get back in the match after Curt opened with a 3-bagger. Curt probably prone to not as steady spare shooting as some of the bowlers here. Missed some key spares in the qualifying round that almost cost him the top 5.
Looked real good on that one, though. So after 3 in a row, he closes the 7th frame. And we talked about it in the pre-match show, Randy. Neither bowler wants to make a big mistake, and so far they haven't.
Well, Bill is still a little bit nervous out there. He doesn't want to make that mistake outside his hook area out there, so he's tugged a little bit, and he's got a few breaks in that he hasn't came up with the split as yet. Bill needs to stay clean, keep marking, keep spearing along until he can get that double in there, find his strike area, and catch up. Through 4 now. Curt was 76 with the mark in the 4th, and Bill with 55. So we've got about a 21-pin margin here for Curt.
This time an 8 count, and he's going to have to convert another spare. Rheinschmidt, 36 years old, from Mosinee, bowling in this tournament for only the 2nd time. Last year was his first appearance in the City Match Game Tournament, and he finished in 17th place. Well, he's still hanging around, Randy, but he's going to have to string a few strikes together here pretty quick.
Well, Curt can really take control of the match if he comes back strong here. Bill just can't find his strike area. He's a little bit quick with his footwork. He's forcing the ball a little bit. Curt looks comfortable out there, as I guess you might expect, bowling in his home house.
Well, I think he got a little break there, very high on the head pin, and manages to get a 9 count. How many games do you think this guy has bowled at Days Bowl-O-Dome since he started when he was 5 years old?
Well, I imagine he's been out here 40, 50 games a week. You grow up in a bowling alley. It's kind of like growing up on a golf course, I suppose. And Curt's learned the game well. He can string them as well as anybody at our field here. And he got a break there when he tugged that ball and got that arm swing a little bit left and yanked it. But he got a break converted, so he's still in firm control of the match.
Unlike some of our bowlers in this field, even though he grew up at the bowling alley, Day doesn't really bowl a lot of tournaments. A couple a year, and that's enough for him, he says.
Well, he did the same thing again, although he's got double wood now to convert, which would be a little bit tougher. Days is a carry house. You get the ball up to the pocket, and you'll get good pin action here. Good pin action off the sideboards on the pin deck itself. You just can't afford to not be around that head pin, and you'll bust up a lot of those splits here too. Tough spin. Nice job at a tough spin.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with more of the City Match Game Bowling Tournament, brought to you by Reeser and People's State Bank after this.
People who enjoy working with people like you. People working hard and smart to manage your money safely and well. Banking the people's way. You'll enjoy working with us. People's State Bank, member FDIC, Wausau, Rib Mountain, and Marathon.
Strike up a good time. Bowl at one of your Wausau area bowling lanes. Bowling is a great family activity. Be part of the fun of league action. Or come out during open bowling, just for the enjoyment. Bowling provides great exercise for all ages. From service to refreshments, we're here to help you. Join Wausau Strike Force. Enjoy bowling soon. This message is brought to you by the Wausau Area Bowling Proprietors.
Back at Days Bowl-O-Dome, Jim Socha, Randy Allen, Bill Rheinschmidt rolling here in the 6th frame.
Pulls it left again, but he gets his first break of the match. That crossover Brooklyn, and that's a start for him.
And you saw him with a little smile directed for Curt Day. They looked at each other and laughed a little because they both had a lot of success on the wrong side of the head pin, I guess you'd have to say.
And Bill will try and take advantage of that break now. Through 5, Curt 113 after that 3-banker to open with. And through 5, Bill with 93. still a little tight. Both bowlers reacting to the pressure of television, the lights out there. Reluctant to send it wide, to trust it. Trust is a must, as you've heard before. But Bill still keeps within distance of Curt Day. Must convert this spare.
Oh, that's a big miss. A big miss for Rheinschmidt in the 7th frame, and now Curt Day really in command of this match.
Well, and unusual for Bill, too. In the 6th game qualifying block, Bill missed only one spare. Where down the stretch, Curt Day missed a couple of single pins that almost cost him making the final 5, so a reversal of roles here.
Big strike for Day.
Curt Day really takes control of the match here.
You know, going back to Rheinschmidt, he has really throughout his career been a model of consistency. He hasn't really posted the extraordinary numbers. His high game is 279. His high series is only 743. Most of these guys have been around 800 before, but he's such a good spare bowler. He's always around that, 200 to 225 range.
32 pin lead for Curt Day. He can nearly put the match away here if he comes up with strike in the 8th. Well, you can see he's glad to get away with just a 4-pin there. Looked like double pinochle for a moment. Curt's trying to send that ball a little bit wider. He, of the two bowlers, has probably the best ability to bring it back from a little wider angle and can send the ball a little bit longer.
Day covers it nicely. A big spare. Now, he's in good shape to advance to the next round. The winner of this match will take on Jim Behn. Behn, of course, has won this tournament a couple of times back in 1981 and 1983.
You can see, Jim, what we've been talking about when Bill got the ball out and let it react through that hook zone. Got the good carry. Maybe a little bit too late, but a big strike in the 8th. And he'll be finishing the match last. Curt will finish the match first. So Bill will know what he's facing. But here's an opportunity for him to stay in contention.
Well, the minute he let it go, you may have heard him say, he didn't like that one. And that hurts. He really just about needed to strike out on his last 5 shots to have a shot at this.
Well, we mentioned early in the telecast, the bowler that keeps his speed where he wants it is going to survive. And Bill just hasn't been able to find that sweet spot with the right kind of speed. That last delivery, a little too hard. Ball didn't react. Now Curt bowling in the 9th, 153 through 7 with a spare up. Can shut his opponent out here.
Oh, he rolled that one very nicely. Another strike for Curt Day. He has been solid in this first game. No tournament jitters whatsoever.
Well, I think the familiarity with bowling a Day's Bowl-O-Dome a big plus in Curt's behalf. With that strike in the 9th, the foundation frame, he just needs to mark the 10th here, and he can close out his opponent.
A little bit high. He'll take a 9, though, if he can convert. Talking about the foundation, I think he had a deep sigh of relief after those first 2 crossovers in frames 1 and 2. He seemed to relax a little bit after that. He'll always take a little bit of luck in this game. Another conversion for Day. One more ball for him here in the 10th.
Well, the fill ball, should he strike, will give him 213. So he's closed out the match. Bill Rheinschmidt couldn't quite find his range early in the match. Had a strike in the 6th to work with, but the open frame in the 7th is what cost him. He can go the distance for 191. Curt has the match won. He'll go on to
the next level of the stepladder. He's our winner in match number 1.
Curt Day with a 210 gets a nice hand, so he picks up where he left off yesterday. Yesterday in qualifying, he averaged 211.
Well, that ball is indicative of the opening match here for Bell. A little bit too fast to the line. And couldn't send the ball wide enough, regular enough to be around the pocket. So he'll try and fill the 10. And one of the bad breaks of ball and chopping the 6 off the 10. So tough day for Bill, but there'll be more, I'm sure.
So our first round winner, Curt Day, with a 210. He knocks off Bill Rheinschmidt, who throws a 168. It'll be Day against Jim Behn in match number 2. That one coming up in just a minute. We'll be back with more of the City Match Game Bowling Tournament, brought to you by Reeser and People's State Bank.
You can do it with true value.
Yard work's easy with these Super Spring values, like a Werner 22-inch step stool with safety steps, just $5.55. Store up to 100 feet of cord on a Doscasil storage reel, just $4.99. The Springfield 12-inch outdoor thermometer, also just $4.99, is easy to read. And get True Test White Latex House Paint for just $7.98 a gallon at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Stop in and check out the Reeser Oil Mobile Mart in your neighborhood. It's not just a place to get gas. It now has all the conveniences you need. Reeser Mobile Marts have a variety of groceries, pizza, soda, beer, snack counter, magazines, car care needs. No more waiting in those long grocery store checkout lines. Next time you're filling up with Reeser's brand name gasoline, pick up those little extras at the same time. Reeser Oil Mobile Marts, your most convenient convenience store. 11 North Central Wisconsin locations.
So in match number 2, it's Jim Behn on your right wearing the red and white shirt against Curt Day. Day, who beat Bill Rheinschmidt in match number 1. And we're going to get, Randy, the first look and only look at a left-hander in this tournament.
Only left-hander in the field and a veteran one. 2-time winner of this event. He'll play down the boards, always around the pocket. Good carry, good spare shooter.
Oh, he gets a little break, a big break there, I should say. Almost the big split.
That's the element I was talking about earlier with the carry at Day's Walladome. Get around the pocket, you get those breaks. You get the good carry on the strike ball. You'll also break up the rack, too, when you're a little nosy like Jim was on that shot. Jim with a 278 in his opening game in the 6-game qualifying block, largely due to the fact that he's able to make these spares when he has to.
Nicely done. A mark in the first. Behn finished third in yesterday's 6-game qualifying round, a 1273 total series. Behn, 49 years old, plays out of Tanglewood. As we said, the only lefty in the tournament, and he won twice in 1981 and 1983. He's been bowling for 30 years, and he's probably the veteran of this tournament.
Well, you can't throw it much better than that. And one of the bad breaks of bowling, although he did trip that 4 out of the 4-9 combination. But here's the classic matchup. You've got the left-hander, limited backswing, down the boards, with more of the arc player or the player that'll swing the ball a little bit in Curt Day. Good matchup.
Day again with another mark. He has not had an open so far through 1 game and 1 frame. He beat Bill Rheinschmidt in our first match. That means Rheinschmidt finishes in 5th place. He'll take home $80. The loser of this match will finish in 4th place and take home $120. Now, if you can go all the way to the top and win this thing, you're going to take home $700.
Well, Curt's still struggling a little bit on number 7. He sent the ball long. The lights, the stepladder final, the pressure will tend to let that elbow fly, get the thumb turned over a little bit, and send the ball a little bit straighter. He's swinging the ball nicely on 8, but he hasn't found his rhythm yet on 7. The strategy interesting here, too. Jim Behn, being the higher bowler in the stepladder, elected to start the match Tough spare. Nice conversion for Curt Day. Jim Behn elected to start the match on 7. So he'll finish first. Curt, the opposite strategy in our first match, where he elected to have his opponent start the match.
Day's been very good on that 2-4-5-8. He had that in the third frame of game 1. Not an easy spare to convert. He's 2 for 2 on it so far.
Well, this is even tougher. The bucket's tough enough. Much less TV lights and the pressure of a championship final. And now Jim will have to go cross alley and a treacherous spare. For the left-hander, the bucket plus the 10-pin. He runs the risk of chopping past the 5, of leaving the 9 if he's not full enough. And then the 10 is just an extra added attraction. But it looks like he's close. Nicely done. Nicely done. Here's that spare bowling again. In our opening match, Bill Rheinschmidt with an open frame. That opened the door for Curt to close him out. So the bowlers have to cover those spares and wait for the strikes.
You've seen Behn bowl a lot more than I have. He's got such a simple delivery. It looks like he's not really prone to getting into any kind of bad habits.
Limited backswing. Lets the ball do the work. Lets the ball roll. Finishes hard. Finds his hook zone. Again, kind of a down the boards player. You won't see him swing the ball out to the 3 or 4 board. Whereas Curt, with a little bit more of an inside-out swing, will arc that ball further and bring it across more boards. He's the power player. Jim's the stroker.
Behn with 2 spares and a strike. Day with 2 spares, trying to keep pace here in the third. Another solid 10. Rolling it well.
There's the soft 10. A little bit too much speed. Ball wasn't quite high enough in the pocket. This will be a test for Curt here. He's left a couple of tough spares in his first 2 matches. Got a couple of breaks with the crossover strikes. And under these conditions, this 10-pin is no cakewalk. So this is an important spare for him.
Randy, as far as I'm concerned, the 10-pin is never a cakewalk under any conditions.
Hard and straight. You saw him bend that wrist down a little bit. Didn't get quite so far behind the ball. Send it cross alley. Take some of that hook off and convert it.
We're here at the Days Bulladome in Wausau, Wisconsin for the 11th annual City Match Game Tournament, and we're in our second match of the day. Jim Behn and Curt Day hooked up at a good one.
Same situation again for Curt on number 7. And the adjustment, again, isn't as much your target or your feet as it is the speed. To not send the ball quite so far, let it roll, get it down a little bit earlier. Now you'll go cross alley, and our match is even. Our match is even.
Our defending champion, Scott Durkee, wasn't able to be here this year. Kind of an interesting story with the war in the Middle East. His reserve unit was called up to Fort Sheridan, Illinois. Scott did not go over to the Middle East, but that's where he is right now, so he didn't get a chance to defend. Hopefully he'll be back here next year.
Jim Behn finds the range with a big double on number 4. So he gets the first double of the match and takes an 11-pin lead. Jim just a steady player. Doesn't have a career 300, not a career 800, but as steady as the rising and setting sun.
He needed a little help there and didn't quite get it. A 9 count. He won this thing twice, as we told you. He's also finished 3rd, 4th, and 6th, and we were talking to him about other finishes, and he wasn't quite sure, but you can pretty much bet every year he's in it, he's in the top 10.
Well, he's just steady. Makes those spares. It makes the little subtle adjustments. Good control of his swing and his speed.
And again, nicely done. So 3 spares and 2 strikes, and Behn in very good shape here through 5 frames.
And Curt's at a critical part of the match now, but he's back on number 8. Resetting alley 7 now as a Pitton didn't get set properly. So a pause. Curt coming up on number 8, which he's handled pretty well. He hasn't been able to find his target line on 7, but he's comfortable on 8. Needs a strike here.
And doesn't get it. An 8 count. Now the winner of this match will take on Bill Cywinski. Bill finished second in yesterday's qualifying, and the winner of that one will go against Tom Rahlf for the championship here. And Rahlf yesterday was outstanding. He was the only guy who was able to run away from the field. Day converts again.
12-pin difference now. Neither bowler has stepped up to take control. And now Curt back on 7, where he's crossed over. He's been high on 7.
Randy, do you think most bowlers like to start from that 4 or 5 slot in a tournament like this so they can maybe build a little momentum?
I'd say that's a pretty tough call. I think bowlers would probably choose to be 1 or 5. They wouldn't want to be in the in-between if they had their choice. I think they all are just happy to be in the top 5. But 5, you can gain a little momentum. 1, you bowl well. 1 game, you win it. It's that 2, 3, and 4 position that don't have the benefits at either end of that.
And again, Day converts. We'll be back with more of the City Match Game Bowling Tournament, brought to you by Reeser and People's State Bank.
Buick is the choice. The question is, which one?
Century, definitely. Lots of room and great gas mileage.
I like Century's price. Nearly $2,000 less than Accord.
LeSabre won me over. The style, the room, the power. I love it all.
One word, quality. That's LeSabre.
Get up to $1,000 cash back on LeSabre, or save up to $1,600 on Century. Now at your better value Buick dealer.
Buick is the choice.
Book Equipment and Marine, Lund Boats, and Mariner Outboards are teaming up to offer you preseason savings now. Book Equipment and Marine now has Lund Boats, powered by Mariner Outboards, in stock and on display. See the complete line of Lund Boats with a large selection and different colors to choose from. Buy now while the selection is at its best. Financing is available at 8.9%. Now's the time to stop in for preseason savings on Lund Boats, powered by Mariner Outboards, at Book Equipment and Marine at the corner of North 1st Avenue and West Bridge Street, Wausau.
Curt Day and Jim Behn hooked up in a good one here, Randy. Day was able to take control of his first match early, but he's had a battle here.
This one looks like it could go down to the wire. Jim with the only double in the match so far. Steps up on 8. Bowling in the 6th with a 13-pin lead. Can really plant the foundation for taking control of the match here.
Oh, beautiful shot.
Nice,
no doubt about that.
Nice pressure shot. Kept his speed good, tightened up his line a little bit. He's playing the ball a little bit wider on 7 than he is on 8.
The City Match Game Tournament is being brought to you by Reeser and People's State Bank. Very happy that you joined us. Hope you're enjoying it. We certainly are. We're seeing some outstanding bowling here at Days Bowl-O-Dome.
Jim Behn with a chance on 7 to really take control of this match.
Oh, and he liked it. He's a pretty mild-mannered guy, but you saw a little reaction after that one.
His second double of the match.
Curt Day now really needs to string a few together to stay in contention here in the second match.
Down by 23.
And a reaction from Day as he gets the carry, and he really needed that one.
Well, the power of Curt Day. It looked like he might have sent that one a little bit long. But tremendous revolution on the ball. Got it up to the pocket, and as we've said before, Days will carry. It's a good carry house, got good pin action. That wall shot or that shaker hit is a good stroke here.
Oh, the big pocket hit, a double in the 8th for Day.
Nice adjustment on number 7. He's had problems with number 7 in both of his matches. So he gave a little more speed, and played that line a little bit tighter on number 7. And the bowlers really reacting to the pressure here, both of them with doubles.
Well, a 9 count for Behn, who started out struggling in the first couple of frames. He converted spares in the first 2, but he's really come on and found that pocket here recently.
Jim a little quick to the line. Wasn't in sync up there, and that's what'll send the ball a little bit wide. But again, good carry, shooting in a single pin spare. He converts in the 8th.
He's about as close to automatic as you're going to find. When Behn isn't bowling, asked him what he likes to do in his spare time, and he described himself as a couch potato. He's just a sports fan, and he likes to watch as much of it as he can on television.
About a 10-pin margin here. Jim needs a strike in the 9th.
And he can't find the range again, so the door is open for Curt Day.
A little tentative on his delivery. Needs to be more aggressive. Pretty much a mistake-free match. And Curt knows that when he steps up in the 9th with a double riding, he can grab this match.
Oh. Behn converts, but just barely. Almost chopped it.
Jim standing at 171 through 8. Should he step up in the 10th and strike out, it's 221. Curt with a double up, bowling the 9th. Possibility of 231.
And it's a 9.
What a tough break. Tough break. No wonder why those pins stand. The power bowler will leave that back row occasionally, and that's what happened with Curt. Got it where he wanted it. Good speed. Just blow it right by the 9-pin.
Day has to convert this one, and he does. So we go to the 10th frame,
and the tide turns. Curt with 160 through 8, a spare up. Really needs to double here. If he can fill the 10th with 3 strikes, he'd finish with 210. Jimmy does the same. We have 221. So we have the possibility of a tie here, too. Well, he knew it when he let it go. Tried to muscle it, threw it too hard, sent it right through the condition. Didn't give it a chance. And the speed caught up to him. Threw it too hard. And now I have a tough spare to convert. We'll have to cross over and bump that 10 with the 1.
And he must make this to have any chance at all. 4 out of 5, not good enough. So it's going to be Jim Behn advancing to the next round. Day finishes off with a 184, a drop-off after his 210 in game number 1.
Well, Jimmy just needs 5 pins here on 2 balls. Looks like a pretty good bet. And again, it's the open frame that costs the bowlers.
Lots of pin action. We missed it there, but it took about 30 seconds. It's a delayed strike, no doubt about it, and that will lock this one up for Behn.
Well, Jim's the winner. 2 doubles in the match, no open frames. Curt looked like he had a chance to take control of the match in the 9th. Was unable to convert in the 10th. And Jim Behn will stay alive for a possible 3rd title in this tournament.
In our next match, it'll be Behn against Bill Cywinski. Cywinski, 25-year-old. Home house, the Coral Lanes in Rothschild. In fact, Bill and his father owned the Coral Lanes.
Well, we have 2 good young bowlers, both with tremendous bowling families and bowling backgrounds. And Curt Day, his father, of course, Russ, owning Days Bolidome and Bill Cywinski and Ron, the same situation at Coeur d'Alene. So Jim Behn is our winner.
211 to 184. Behn advances to our next round. He'll take on Bill Cywinski, and we'll be back with that match in just a minute. Back with more of the City Match Game Bowling Tournament, brought to you by Reeser and People's State Bank.
Strike up a good time. Bowl at one of your Wausau area bowling lanes. Bowling is a great family activity. Be part of the fun of league action. Or come out during open bowling, just for the enjoyment. Bowling provides great exercise for all ages. From service to refreshments, we're here to help you. Join Wausau Strike Force. Enjoy bowling soon. This message is brought to you by the Wausau area bowling proprietors.
Imagine a home as beautiful as those in magazines and movies. Now imagine your home with beautiful tiles in the bath and kitchen, plush carpets in the living room and bedroom, easy to care for no-wax vinyl in the entry and family room. Visit Burnhamwood Tile and Marble's Home Decorating Center and you won't have to imagine anymore. Everything is beautifully displayed with the most helpful staff ready to make your decorating dreams a reality. No job is too big or too small for Burnhamwood Tile and Marble. Whether you want just one room or your entire home redone, Burnhamwood Tile and Marble is the place to shop. Highway 45, Burnhamwood.
The City Match Game Tournament Bowling Tip is brought to you by Point Special Beer. Score a few points tonight.
Most bowlers would love to throw more strikes, and I feel the key to that is throwing a larger hook. And there's 3 important steps to take to achieve that. First of all is your ball placement. It's very important to keep the ball in line with your shoulder. This will ensure a nice pendulum arm swing. That plus your hand position. The pros call it a 2 to 10 rotation, where the thumb starts at 2 o'clock, and as you deliver the ball, your thumb rotates to 10 o'clock. It's also very important to keep a very firm wrist. A firm wrist will ensure lots of rotation. That rotation is going to create a larger hook, a bigger pocket area, and a lot more pin action. In throwing the larger hook, the ball will drive into the pocket much stronger, resulting in fewer 5-pin leaves. In throwing the ball with a firm wrist, will create more rotation and much better pin action for those light carries. Keep in mind the large hook will create a lot more strikes. However, it could cause problems with right-hand spares. This is where you may want to open your hand up, throw a straighter shot at the 6 and 10 pin to cut down the angle. Ball placement, hand position, a firm wrist. 3 keys in throwing the bigger hook.
The City Match Game Bowling Tip has been brought to you by Point Special Beer.
When you need a lift home, it's okay to ask your sister.
Bill Cywinski on your left and Jim Behn on your right. The winner of this match will advance to our championship match against Tom Rahlf. Randy, well, this ought to be an interesting matchup as well.
Well, we noticed the difference in the power player and the stroker last match. This will even be more so the case, with Bill Cywinski arcs the ball deep inside angle while Jim plays the ball down the boards, more of a forward roll, and starts off on number 7. Bill Cywinski having the choice of who starts the match, and he elected to have Jim Behn start the match on number 7. So Jim's hot. He's bowled well in his opening match, and he comes out of the blocks with a strike. And now you'll see this, the wide angle of Bill Cywinski.
6 count in the opening frame. Now, Behn got to this match by beating Curt Day just a few minutes ago, 211 to 184, the final there. Day had advanced to take on Behn by beating Bill Rheinschmidt in our first match of the day, 210 to 168.
Bill Cywinski faced with a tough spare. Does a nice job.
When you
played the spare off his strike line a little bit, had double wood to contend with, and gives himself a big spare in his opening shot. The second qualifier in the tournament, a little prone to some ups and downs. Doesn't rip the ball or turn the ball as hard as he did when he was younger. Still a very young bowler. Gets it down a little bit earlier, but can really run away with things when he gets hot.
Cywinski averaged 214 in yesterday's qualifying, and he shows you why right there. A good strike. So he's got 20 in the first. 25 years old, from Rothschild. As we said earlier, he and his father own the Coral Lanes in Rothschild. He's been in this tournament 2 or 3 times.
Well, you could see Jim was upset with that shot almost when he let it go. Didn't keep his speed up, and a little tight, a little anxious, and pulled the ball in front of his body a little bit and sent it high. He'll have a tough cross-alley spare here, too. Bill Cywinski with 2 300s to his credit, 2 previous top 5 finishes, and 833 career high series.
And there he is, Mr. Steady, Behn with a conversion.
I think I bowled against Jim Behn for several years when I lived in Wausau. I don't recall him missing a spare. Perhaps an overstatement, but a steady spare bowler.
Let me ask you this, Randy. How many times did you beat him?
Well, I'm certainly old for my career against Jim Behn, without a doubt.
Nothing to be embarrassed about that, though.
One of the toughest competitors in the greater Wausau area. Has played the ball a little bit wider on number 7 and does so again, and can't bring it up the hill. A little bit tentative on the shot. Didn't finish his swing as much as he'd like to get the rotation on the ball. And both bowlers are facing some tough spares in this semifinal match. Double wood again.
Tough shot, and Behn makes it look easy again. So through 3 frames, he's got a strike and 2 spares, and Cywinski now with a chance to grab the lead.
High backswing, generates tremendous power, stays well behind the ball. Good wrist action.
No doubt about it either. Right there, that's a double for Cywinski.
You could almost notice in the practice balls when Bill came up on 7 and 8, he looked focused, he looked determined. He's been in the finals before. He looked ready. He looked sure of himself. All of his opening shots so far have looked good. Confidence just brimming. He's a streak bowler who can really zero in.
A lot of body English, and he got it back to the pocket, so that's a triple for Cywinski, off to a tremendous start. You know, he's the only qualifier who made it through the Rabbit squad to get into this tournament. He didn't have one of the top 20 averages in the Wausau area, and so they had that bowl off. 26 bowlers, I believe, bowling for 4 spots, and he was one of the qualifiers.
Jim up on number 8, and I think he can sense that Bill Cywinski might be ready to uncork a string on him, and he reacts to the pressure. Good shot on 8, good pressure shot for Jim on 8, and he can get back into the match now as he comes up on number 7, bowling in the 4th with a strike up. Bill Cywinski with his 3-bagger. 50 in the 2nd frame. Jim working on a strike. Well, you don't see a lot of the corner pins here. Good carry house, but Jim leaves the soft 7. Disappointed with that, I'm sure, but a spare will keep him in the match. Boy, Cywinski's right on the edge of his chair. He wants to go throw the ball. He's loose. Jim will have his work cut out for him.
Tom Rahlf waiting in the wings for the winner of this match. We're starting to talk about some serious cash now. The loser of this match will finish in 3rd place in the tournament and take home $145. The winner will assure himself of at least second place money, which would be $350, and then the winner of this tournament will take home $700.
Bill Cywinski in the 5th on 8. Ooh, a ringing 10. It was almost a 4-bagger, which would have put him in a commanding lead. Now he's back to earth, and a tough conversion for him. He'll try and break that wrist down, straighten the ball out as he goes cross alley.
I think the average bowler has more problems with this shot than any other.
He's got it.
Nicely done. You agree with that, Randy? I think most bowlers who play it right to left might get a little bit psyched out when they're looking at that single 10-pin.
Well, it's a matter of practice. Spare shooting. He's out there Saturday, Sunday afternoons, practicing that shot. And I think a matter of concentration more than anything else, not being disappointed and leaving it, coming back to spirit. The match still hanging in the balance.
Same shot, different alley, same shot. Couldn't have thrown it much better, but again, he leaves the 10.
Well, he leaves the door open for Jim to get back in the match after that 3-bagger. Through 4, Bill Cywinski leading by 22. Will try and convert on his second consecutive 10-pin. And disappointed, but I don't think confused. He's thrown the ball in the pocket.
And there is the first mistake of the match, and that really opens the door for Jim Behn.
Well, much like the first 2 matches, the open frame could be pivotal.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with more of the City Match Game Bowling Tournament in just a minute. It's brought to you by Reeser and People's State Bank.
Strike up a good time. Bowl at one of your Wausau area bowling lanes. Bowling is a great family activity. Be part of the fun of league action. Or come out during open bowling, just for the enjoyment. Bowling provides great exercise for all ages. From service to refreshments, we're here to help you. Join Wausau's Strike Force. Enjoy bowling soon. This message is brought to you by the Wausau Area Bowling Proprietors.
Springtime, summertime, for quality every time. Buick is the choice.
I wanted something good on gas, yet roomy. That's why I chose Regal.
Regal's sporty style sold me.
With all the new incentives, I saved a bundle. We just took a test drive.
Now we're taking our new Regal home. Hurry to your better value Buick dealer and join the LeBaron and Taurus buyers who chose Regal instead, because
Buick is the choice.
6th frame, Jim Behn, a chance to take advantage of that Cywinski Open here. He could use a strike.
Well, he steps up on number 8, trailing by 10. A strike can get him back in the match. But thus far, Jim, with no open frames. Good shot. Good shot. There's a pressure shot coming back from the commercial. Keeping his arm swing nice and firm. Sending the ball long enough. Good finish. And our match is all even. We should mention, too, that the tournament this year, the Ron Betzler Memorial Tournament, in honor of the person who was instrumental in originating this event 11 years ago.
So he'll leave a 6-pin, a pretty good shot. He is right there just about every time.
Jimmy couldn't quite trip that 6-pin, but made a good shot, as you point out. Always around the pocket. And the match will be hanging in the balance again for the final 3 frames. Cywinski will really try and have to recover from the mental obstacle of missing that 10-pin after he could have just as easily had another double to work with there.
What about lane conditions, Randy? We've got the TV lights on them. Are they changing very much in the hour and a half that we're on the air?
Well, the TV lights will certainly make a difference, but it'll probably just make them a little bit more difficult to adapt to, but not as drastic as it used to be under lacquer. Cywinski reacts with a tremendous shot on 8.
Did he bring that in?
The conditions of today tend to be a little bit difficult to figure out under normal circumstances. This probably makes them more so. But it's a matter of ball speed. Just keep the speed where you want it, keep the ball in the right hook zone and finding that hook zone as it moves a little bit in the last 10 or 15 feet.
Cywinski looking for the double, and he gets it. So he's back after that open frame, and he's back very strong.
Well, what a tremendous reaction to that open frame, missing the 10th and coming back strong with a double. You know, he's looking at a string that could just as easily be 7 in a row here with those 2 solid 10s that he had. Behn now with his work cut out for him in the 7th.
And he responds with a strike. We're hooked up, or I should say Behn and Cywinski are hooked up in a good one.
Cywinski maintaining about a 20-pin advantage here. Jim moving into 9th. He'll finish the match last. When Cywinski steps up, he'll be finishing the match first, bowling the 9th and 10th. He can close his opponent out. Possibility of 247 if Bill Cywinski goes off the sheet. 227 for Jim Behn.
Again, he gets some action to take out the 10-pin, and that's a double for Behn, and keeping the pressure on Cywinski. You can't afford to let up at all in this match.
Boy, he sure does. No open frames for Jim. Hasn't made that critical mistake that opens the door for his opponent. Cywinski can win the match here in the 9th and 10th.
Make it 3 in a row for Bill Cywinski.
And a mark in the 10th will close it out.
The winner of this one will take on Tom Rahlf in our championship match.
He needs a good count here with his mark to close out his opponent.
And there it is. Oh, I tell you, we've got a great crowd here at Days Bolodome, and they're really enjoying this Cywinski because you have to hold your breath every time he puts the ball down because it's about an inch from the point of no return.
Well, he sent that one a little bit wider than he wanted to, but the speed was right, didn't overthrow, and brought it back to the pocket and got the carry. You see him line up almost past the gutter on the left side. Send the ball between that 2nd and 3rd arrow all the way out to the 2 board.
Another pretty good shot, but he doesn't get the strike, so his streak ends at 4 in a row. This City Match Game Tournament is being brought to you by the People's State Bank and by Reeser. Thanks for joining us, Jim Sosha and Randy Allen at Days Bolodome, and we've seen some outstanding action so far today.
Bill Cywinski, your winner in the semifinal match. And what a tremendous effort. This is with an open frame. He'll finish with 236. Jim Behn looking over the score carefully. He'll bowl out the string.
What possible, 227 if he strikes out? Is that right?
He can go the distance for 227 here, which would be a tremendous effort. But Cywinski was hot.
Right there, another beautiful shot by Jim Behn. You know, you roll a 227. What the heck? You can only do so much. You lose with a 227. You've done your job. That's a solid score.
Well, Jim will look back at that 7-pin in the 7th. Would have made a great deal of difference, but this 2-time winner really bowls well in the championship round this year.
Solid 9, and well, once again, as per usual, Jim Behn going to finish in the top 10 or top 5 at this tournament. He won it in 1981, in 1983. He's finished 3rd, 4th, and 6th, and he's going to finish 3rd again today, and he's going to take home a good chunk of change. Behn converts on the 7-pin. And Bill Cywinski advances to the championship match against Tom Rahlf. That one coming up in just a minute. We'll be back with more of the City Match Game Bowling Tournament brought to you by Reeser and People's State Bank.
Enjoy America's favorite sport more by improving your game today. Let Team USA coach Fred Borden show you how to improve your bowling skills through his easy-to-learn 4-part instructional program. Learn key tips which will help you look and score like a pro. Learn the Borden spare shooting system that guarantees your average will increase. Classes are now forming. Sign up today by calling
Coral Lane's Rothschild.
Introducing the ultimate vehicle for weekend enjoyment. With tilt wheel, adjustable seat, power steering, and shaft drive. Introducing the toughest Cub Cadet garden tractor ever. It makes yard work as easy as a Sunday drive. The comforts of a car, the toughness of a truck. Cub Cadet. Tough American-built tractors for your little corner of the world.
Jim Socia, Randy Allen back at Days Bowl-O-Dome in the championship match of the City Match Game Tournament. It's Tom Rahlf against Bill Cywinski. Bill, I guess, Randy, you maybe have to give him the edge based on what he did last game against Jim Behn. He bowled a 236, and he was solid.
He looks real comfortable. Tom Rahlf has the choice of starting lane, so he's elected to have Bill Cywinski start on number 7. You know, Jimmy, he looks comfortable and he looks focused with the little break between matches, perhaps taking its toll. Sent the ball a little bit wide, and you can see him experimenting there with his arm swing. Didn't like the position of his arm. Let it get a little bit wide on him. Didn't get it as inside as he wanted. Unusual approach to shooting that left side spare as he doesn't go across the alley at it. Powerful young bowler.
The winner of this match will be our champion and take home $700. Second place is worth $350. You know, down here for qualifying yesterday, I was impressed with the real friendly atmosphere among the bowlers. Most of them know each other, and this is fun. I mean, there's a little pressure here, but they know each other pretty well, and they're out here to have a good time.
Rahlf certainly a great deal different than Bill Cywinski, but a key shot for him. The top qualifier in the tournament in the 6-game qualifying block put together 3-game blocks of 601 and then finished with 771, 268, 236, and 267. Clearly the person who dominated and persevered, and that's an indication of his strength. Some of the bowlers let it get away from them in the last couple of games, but he finished strong. Power player in the sense that he's got tremendous wrist action.
Right there again. So Rahlf starts things out with a double. That's the kind of start he was looking for. Rahlf bowls out of Tanglewood, 29 years old. This only his 2nd year in this tournament.
Tremendous side turn on the ball. You see that thumb position and the fingers underneath the ball. Tremendous power the last 10 feet.
Speaking of power, here's Cywinski. A lot of power, a lot of drive on that shot as well. And we've got a couple of guys, if you're bowling league against these guys standing on the other team, the way they bowl, it can be kind of intimidating because these are some thunderous strikes that these guys are capable of.
Well, they both seem to have the game that is conducive to a good score right now. Both under control, good speed. And that troublesome 10-pin. It's his 3rd 10-pin of his 2 matches, the soft 10. You know, one of the great mysteries of bowling. This is the pin that Bill missed in his match in the semifinals against Jim Behn. It didn't prove to cost him as he came back strong to recover from it.
Doesn't miss it here. Converts nicely. Now, I don't mean to jinx anyone, and it is still very early. Tom Rahlf with a double to start this game. Should anyone roll a 300 game in our finals here, it'll be a $300 bonus. And Rahlf is the last guy who has a shot to win that $300, but we're still early, like I say.
You'll see on our profile here the open shoulders of Tom Rahlf, and watch the wrist bend, tremendous leverage, short finish, but generates tremendous power with his wrist action.
Unusual delivery for someone as talented as him?
Well, unusual in that he doesn't get the high backswing. It doesn't lock that arm in the pendulum that you see many of the young players do. But he knows what to do with his characteristic. Keeps his arc short.
So after 3 strikes, Rahlf with a little split here in the 4th frame. Normally not a big problem to convert. Probably the easiest split you can be shooting at here, but
Rush the line a little bit. Now he'll go cross alley a little bit. Try and put the ball in between them. Get the ball around the 3rd arrow. You know, the power players sometimes have difficulty with this because their ball doesn't deflect as much as they'd like. Almost got it the hard way. So after the 3-bagger, he allows Bill Cywinski an opening.
And last game against Jim Behn, when Cywinski had an opening, he took advantage of it.
Watch the arm swing of Bill Cywinski now. The tremendous power that he generates with that high arm swing. Bends that wrist, gets behind the ball, but sent it wide.
And a big split, and
here's the
Rahlf gets a break.
Here's the changing condition that the bowlers have to adapt to now. Conditioner pushed a little bit further down. That same ball a couple of frames ago might have got back to the pocket. He'll take a run at it here.
Oh, just missed it. Both of our finalists here are familiar with bowling under pressure, although maybe not a lot of televised bowling tournaments, but they both like to bowl as many tournaments as they can.
Both are open in the 4th frame, so we've got Bill Cywinski at 77, Tom Rahlf at, or 66 rather, and Tom Rahlf at 86, so Bill Cywinski shoots 20 pins down.
And again, he bounces back. Last game against Behn, he had the open frame, and he came back with 2 strikes, and he does it again here. Tom Rahlf, 3 career 300s. Bowled an 836 series. That's his career high at Lincoln Lanes, excuse me.
Kind of an unusual style here for Tom. Keeps that ball tucked in, doesn't get it out. Keeps his shoulders open, though, which allows for that short backswing to generate more power than you might anticipate. Same situation on alley number 8 for Tom Rahlf. The lanes a little bit tighter at the end. The conditioner moving down, not getting your reaction in the last 10 or 12 feet. And both end up with the same difficult spare.
With that 20-pin lead, do you go for it, or you just take one?
Without a doubt, you go for it here. It's a makeable spare. Bill Cywinski almost converting on it. Tom, I'm sure, will give it a run.
He doesn't convert it either, so after a very good start through 3 frames, both players having a little trouble here in the 4th, and for Rahlf, the 5th as well. Back-to-back opens, and Cywinski going to have another shot.
The match nearly even. We've got a 1-pin advantage here for Bill Cywinski, and he has a strike up in the 5th. And the way Cywinski can string together the strikes, Tom needs to get back in the match here.
Oh, he needed that. He really needed that one.
Was firm with his speed. Didn't let the ball creep up on him. And the last 5 frames are going to be tight.
All right, we'll be back with the last 5 frames of the City Match Game Bowling Tournament, brought to you by Reeser and People's State Bank.
You can do it with true value.
Yard work's easy with these super spring values. Start with rugged Servest garden tools. Choose a garden hoe, bow rake, or dirt shovel. They're just $5.49 each. Then take care of your plants with a Green Thumb half-gallon poly sprayer. It's only $11.99. And dress up the walkway or flower bed with Gilbert & Bennett cedar lawn edging. It's just $3.44 at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Strike up a good time. Bowl at one of your Wausau area bowling lanes. Bowling is a great family activity. Be part of the fun of league action. Or come out during open bowling, just for the enjoyment. Bowling provides great exercise for all ages. From service to refreshments, we're here to help you. Join Wausau Strike Force. Enjoy bowling soon. This message is brought to you by the Wausau area bowling proprietors.
We are in the 6th frame of the City Match Game Tournament Championship game. Tom Rahlf going against Bill Cywinski, and still very much anybody's championship to win. This has been tight pretty much from the start.
Our match is virtually all even. Both bowlers with a strike up. Cywinski can really put the pressure on with a double bowling in the 6th. Well, the 10 pin has been his nemesis, and on this wall shot, Shaker hit, couldn't get that 1 pin to come off the board and go get it. So this probably is tough a shot for Bill in this match as any. An open frame here would really open the door for Tom.
Nicely done. Cywinski converts, and so the match stays very tight. Cywinski got here by beating Jim Behn, the 2-time winner in the last match, 236 to 216, in what was probably, definitely, actually, our best match of the afternoon so far, until this one. Oh, and there it is again.
Well, his 5th 10 pin in his 2 matches, and it's really leaving Bill a little confused. It's an awfully subtle adjustment to make.
And what is that adjustment, Randy? What do you do there?
Lots of schools of thought. Some prefer to back up on the approach a little bit, try and get the ball more room to hook into that pocket. Others change their angle a little bit. It's unusual that Bill would be leaving that many 10s from the angle that he's bowling. And unusual that he's not carrying. His is a carry game. But he's sparing them, and the match stays pretty tight.
He's certainly getting a lot of practice at the 10-pin conversion here today, and that one exception, he's done very well. Tom Rahlf.
Bowling in the 7th with a 10-pin advantage. Strike up.
Oh, my. You don't see that one very often. You don't see that one very often at all. Randy, what happened there?
Tom really rushed his shot and let his swing get out of control and just send it wide. You'll have to go for this. Move a little right, try and get that ball to cross over, send the 1 into the 6 and the 10. Let the ball take the 5 and the 8. And he's going to try and convert that, not off his strike line, but he's going to move left.
So another open for Tom Rahlf, his 3rd through 7 frames, and he's in trouble right now.
Well, he's still in the match. He must come back and strike here. Bill can take control of the match in the 8th. With that open, he's 121 through 7. Should Cywinski come back with a double, he'd go up by 25. So an important frame here for Tom.
And he misses that one left, and badly left.
Well, he's really lost his focus now. He sent the ball wide on 8, left it Awfully difficult spare and a bad count. Now he tried to make the adjustment, brought that swing a little bit too inside, tugged on it, held on to a little bit too long, let the thumb go over and the elbow fly a little bit. But he'll have a reasonably easy spare to shoot at.
Not necessarily where he wanted to put it, but it was effective. Nonetheless, a spare that he had to have.
And Bill Cywinski stepping up in the 8th has the match in his sights if he can respond.
And he's high, and both players really struggling since the second or third frame. The scores aren't all that impressive, but if you're looking for a tight match, we certainly have that. Still up for grabs. 1 pin through 7 frames.
Well, the TV lights and the changing conditions have made it tough. And Bill Cywinski just made things tougher. So this is still anybody's match. 130 with that open frame through 8. It actually puts Tom Rahlf back in the lead, as he'll be plus 11. And Bill really needs to react in this foundation frame.
He needs it, and he gets it. A big strike for Bill Cywinski. We'd like to thank all our friends here at Days Bolidome for hosting the 11th annual City Match Game Tournament. They've done a fine job, and they've been very helpful to our crew, who has spent a lot of time getting set up for this event. And thanks to everybody down here at Days. They've been just super to work with.
Tom steps up in the 9th, looking at a 2-0-1 possibility here. Bill Cywinski can still get 190. Tough break, threw the ball well, and corrected that last errant shot of his. Still anybody's match.
Another deep breath by Tom Rahlf. He saw the split there for a split second, and very happy that he didn't have to deal with that.
And we have a chance for a tie. That's how tight the match is. Must mark, must convert this 9 pin.
And he missed it. He missed it, and this has just been one mistake after another in this championship match.
I mentioned it real early in our telecast, although the game is strikes and the power of the young bowler. The person who makes those spares between those strikes has the advantage.
You're looking right now at the, we don't see his face, but I tell you what, Bill Cywinski can't believe all the opportunities he's getting.
Tom bowling in the 10th with a 20-pin 10th. He finishes, or can finish, at 169. Bill with a strike in the 9th needs to fill 20 pins in the 10th. So Tom needs to spare here to force Bill to fill the 10th.
He converts, so we still have ourselves a match.
What we have, Jim, is a matter of count. A strike would make it 169. Bill's looking at a possible 190. Should he have 3 in a row on the 10th to finish with a 4-bagger. A 20-pin 10th, however, would give him 170. So he really needs to throw his fill ball here for a strike to force Cywinski to count 8 or better.
And he gets it. A clutch shot for Tom Rahlf, who gets a nice hand. It was a struggle for him, but he finishes off with a 169. And again, the pressure shifts back on the shoulders of Bill Cywinski.
A strike can win it. A spare will then force him to count 8 or better in his fill ball. So the match is his to win. A strike can take it for him. There's your winner.
There it is. Bill Cywinski throws a strike when he needs it most. A double to win the City Match Game Tournament. Good finish, Randy.
Well, both bowlers struggling in this final match after they opened with 3 strikes out of their first 4 frames, like they were all wired in. But a condition that changed a little bit in our championship match. And it was a matter of limiting the mistakes. Bill Cywinski's our winner.
As they say, it wasn't pretty, but it was interesting to watch. $25-year-old Bill Cywinski going to take home $700 first place money, and he'll close out by missing the 10-pin, but he says it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. The final score, 178 for Cywinski, and Tom Rahlf closes out with a 169. We'll be back to talk to the winner in just a minute.
It happens every spring. The boys of summer return to the ballparks, and St. Clair's hosts a spring spectacular. I'm Dave Yankee of St. Clair's Menswear. I don't know who will win the pennant, but I do know that our spring spectacular values are worth scoring. For a very short period of time, get 15% off spring and summer suits, sport coats, and blazers. That's 15% off. But hurry, the sale ends April 27th.
Every city has one truly fine men's store. In Wausau, it's St. Clair's, downtown on 3rd Street.
Well, that ought to do it. You all set, Paul? All set. You know, there are lots of sports going on in our community, so we decided it was time to load up the van and take our show on the road.
And we want to make you a part of the action, so we're going to take you there.
On the road again.
If you want to know where we're going, just watch Live at 5.
Who knows? Maybe we'll show up at your ball game, the old track meet, or even the old fishing hole.
Get off of me, pal.
Watch Sports on the Road next week on Newsline 9's Live at 5.
Jim Sosha and Randy Allen back at Days Bolodome in Wausau, Wisconsin, where Bill Cywinski has just won the 11th annual City Match Game Tournament. The scores weren't great in the championship game, Randy, but I think it kept everyone's attention.
Well, as we mentioned at the beginning of the telecast, a couple of the key elements that we were going to look for were spares and reacting to your opponent. In a stepladder final, one match, one ball could make the difference. Bill Cywinski, when he had to, put the ball where he needed to. And although it was a lower scoring final, the players reacted to the conditions, and that's equally important in this format, in this caliber of bowler.
It was a tough championship match for Tom Rahlf, who yesterday was really head and shoulders above the rest of the field. Yesterday he averaged 228 and easily qualified in first place, but he never really was able to get things going. I mean, he did start off with a triple, but after that he just kind of lost his sync.
He looked like he was dialed in, as the bowlers say, but a couple of splits in the 4th and 5th were his undoing. But he bowled well, and all of them bowled well. The field averaged about 200 on 7 and 8 in the qualifying round, and it looks like they'll average right around that for our stepladder finals here. So 7 and 8 didn't yield the big scores, but it provided some exciting bowling.
So Bill Cywinski wins the championship. Tom Rahlf finishes second, and we'll be back to talk to your champion in just a minute.
Talking about the real thing. It's a hero, a friend, a smile you want to see forever. It's all of the moments that go for the gold classic that can't be the real thing. Can't be the real thing.
people. People who enjoy working with people like you. People working hard and smart to manage your money safely and well. Banking the people's way. You'll enjoy working with us. People's State Bank, member FDIC, Wausau, Rib Mountain, and Marathon.
Okay, we are back at Days Bolidome, where Bill Cywinski has won the 11th annual City Match Game Tournament. Joined now by a couple of our sponsors for this great event, Bill Gullickson from People's State Bank and Tom Reeser from Reeser Oil. Guys, I think you picked a pretty exciting tournament to get involved in.
We're always happy to be involved in community events. Many of our customers are bowlers, and we're very happy to sponsor this.
The same story for you, I would imagine.
Reeser Oil always took pride in sponsoring local events, and we base our success on this.
Did you pick up a few tips out here today?
Well, I'm an old bowler, but not recently, no.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Now we're joined by Bill Lonsdorf. Bill, the tournament director, you ought to be commended. I think this thing ran very smoothly this week.
Well, it helps when you have a bunch of guys who are courteous on the alleys. They know how to bowl, and they get the job done.
And you've got some guys now who are going to receive some cash, too.
We've got some money to give out here, and we want to start with our 6th place finish is Chuck Johanning. Chuck? Our 5th place finisher, Bill Rheinschmidt. Bill? Our 4th place finisher, Curt Day. And our 3rd place finisher, Jim Behn, who also had the high game in the qualifying block of 278, and he receives a check for $50 from Al Redant from Redant Insurance. Jim? Two checks. Thank you. And our 2nd place finisher, Tom Rahlf. Tom, congratulations. And our tournament winner, Billy Cywinski. I present this check to you, Billy, on behalf of the Ron Betzer Memorial Trophy and City Association. And good luck to you next year.
Thank you. Thanks.
Congratulations, Bill. That says $700 on there. Have you got that spent yet or not?
I don't know. I don't think Russ will cash his check from here, so it's a big one.
Well, talk about your performance. Now, you started in the number 2 slot today. You bowled that one real solid game. You got to the final. That thing was a struggle, wasn't it?
Very much so. You know, 2 nice guys, I think, just didn't know which way to go, back and forth. It's a tough match.
You've been in this tournament before. This is the first time you've won it. What about the pressure? Were you feeling it at all out there today?
Yeah, I got to say so. It was a little warm out there and a little lights, and it was hot. It was hot out there.
Congratulations. You did a great job.
Thank you very much.
You know, you're not done yet. Besides that $700, I think these 2 gentlemen have a nice piece of hardware to give you.
Congratulations, Bill.
Bill, congratulations.
You need any help carrying this out to your car?
No. I think I got them both. Thank you.
Okay, Bill Cywinski, our winner of the match game tournament. Thanks a lot, Bill. Congratulations. Let's take a quick look at today's action. In match number 1, it was Curt Day over Bill Rheinschmidt, 210 to 168. In match number 2, Southpaw Jim Behn filled every frame and defeated Day 211 to 184. Match 3 saw Bill Cywinski, the only bowler from the Rabbit squad to make the top 5, take an early lead and hold on to win 236 to 216. And in the championship match, Cywinski and Tom Rahlf locked up in a back-and-forth matchup, with Cywinski winning 178 to 169.
You've been watching the 11th Annual City Match Game Bowling Tournament from Days Bolidome in Wausau. This TV9 Sports exclusive.
How to become an expert